All right. In today's video, I'm going to talk about water treatment during the avian influenza outbreak. So let's get started. First of all, instead of saying I'm using product X, product Y in my poultry barn, you need to really have a written water treatment program. And based on that schedule, you need to treat your water accordingly. So overall, you are going to treat your water in two times. First, between the flocks, when there is no bird in the barn, you finished one cycle and you are going to start the next cycle after, a couple of days or weeks. And during that time, where there is no bird in the barn, you need to know when you are going to treat water, what product you are going to use, and how are you going to use the product. The next step is to have a daily water treatment during the flock. It means that when the birds are in the barn, you need to have filtration system, know what filtration system you are going to use, if it is for just sediments or iron or any other factors in the water. And then you are going to choose the right sanitation products. We are going to talk about that in this video, and make a list of water quality testing tools. What tools you are going to use to measure chemical residuals in the water, or measure the physical chemical properties of your water. You need to check the injectors regularly to see if they are really injecting the uh, products into your water system to treat your water, and always measure the killing power of your disinfectant, which is the measuring of chemical residuals in the water line. And we are going to talk about that. So overall, we are going to talk about routine practices versus strategic and efficient practices of water treatment. So let's start with water microbiological test. Let's say you have shipped your water sample to a lab to have microbiological test. So a routine practice is to take a bacteria test and, based on the sampling protocols, like using a sterile container, and what are you going to test for, and then, ship your sample. So it is the routine practice. But strategic practice is to establish a plan to clean water lines and treat the water daily with your disinfectant. Then, if there are still problems, dig into getting bacteria test done. So, first of all, before doing any microbiological test, you need to have a daily water treatment system. And then if you see any problem, you are going to send out your water sample to a lab for water microbiological test. Talking about water mineral test. So a routine practice is to, take a mineral test and stick it in your fridge or on your wall, and sometimes have a look at it and no idea what the heck it is and it is talking about. But strategic practice is to first find your previous mineral test, even if it is from 3 years before, or it can be newer. Then look at the numbers and consult the standard acceptable levels for poultry water. See if the minerals levels are acceptable or not. And then, based on that, develop a plan accordingly. And we are going to talk about that as well. So, first of all, keep in mind, if we don't know what water mineral content is, we are fighting in the dark with pathogens. So, the first step is to get your water mineral analysis to begin water treatment planning and pay specific attention to the levels of iron, manganese, and sulfates because these minerals can help germs, bacteria, and viruses to survive in the water line and produce biofilm, which is going to, compromise your poultry health. So that's why always pay attention to the levels of these three minerals. They are really important. So if you see your water, has beyond acceptable level of iron, manganese, or sulfate, or other minerals, then we need to clean the water line from these minerals, right? So here we have three steps. The first step is oxidation with chlorine dioxide or hydrogen peroxide at the correct pH, which is 7 to 7.5, and the appropriate, contact time. It should be at least 20 minutes. It means that when you inject these chemicals like chlorine dioxide or hydrogen peroxide into your water line, your water pH should be between 7 to 7.5, not higher, and it should sit in the water line at least for 20 minutes. And then you can filter the water to get rid of any sediments and any, minerals. And then you need to acidify the water line. Usually citric acid should not be used as a cleaner, but in this case, because we are cleaning the water line from minerals and from, those scales, we can use citric acid. And after that, we need to flush the water line to get rid of any sediments and any residuals from the line. Now your water line is clean from any, precipitated or sediments, minerals, and then you can start your new flock.
And the flush system is right here, what I was talking about. So this is the door you come in here. So you just open the tap here, and it feeds up and just goes into the hose. It's a bypass the regulator here, and it feeds right into there, right there. You'll probably see this one better here. So she feeds in here, yeah, right here, right into the main line. So, and out the bottom, just flushes right out. So once a day when they're bigger and twice when they're small. So when you're done, you just close the tap, give it air so it drains out, and away you go.